Hey guys, it's Dredge. I'm back with another video. I just want to apologize for the 3-month break I've had. I've had to do a lot of things in my personal life. My girlfriend just recently graduated high school, so I've been attending her graduation stuff. And we're also planning a vacation next week, so I'm going to try to pump out as many videos as I can. So we're going to the beach and I'll be away for about a week. But thanks for understanding, and let's get into this video. Am I the asshole for doing the same thing as my wife? My wife recently decided she does not want to give oral anymore. Her reason is that she doesn't like it and so doesn't think she should have to do it. Of course, she's right. No one can force her to give oral, and she's entirely within her rights to refuse it to me. That said, I've always hated having Friday night dinners with my in-laws. My in-laws are nasty, judgmental people, and for the last 10 plus years, I've spent almost every Friday night, when I should be relaxing from a long week's work, with people that I honestly detest on some level. Why do I do this? Because it makes my wife happy, and I want her to be happy. So I told my wife that's fine, she doesn't have to. But that I'd also like to stop doing something which I hate, spending every Friday with my in-laws. She says I'm an asshole, and that the situations are different. I disagree. We're both stopping something that we hate, despite it making the other happy. I think we're both within our rights to do so, and neither of us are assholes. Am I the asshole? I'd say it's about 50-50. Like, obviously it's her choice. She doesn't have to. But to not go to a family thing with your in-laws, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't have to do that either. But I don't think the two things actually correlate. Like, I think if it would have been brought up in a different scenario, if you would have talked to your wife about you actually not liking the in-laws, then it might not be every Friday. But I don't think you should have necessarily linked the two things together, because that kind of makes it sound like, oh, if you're not going to give me oral, I'm not going to spend time with your family. You know, it shouldn't have been like that. It shouldn't have brought up in that manner. But, yeah. I don't think either of you are the asshole, but I think the whole thing could have been avoided if you would have brought it up in a different scenario. Am I the asshole for not allowing a baby at my wedding? My fiance and I are getting married in October, and one of his friends is currently pregnant. By the time the wedding comes around, she will have given birth and the baby will be 3 months old. We have a no kids under 13 rule at our wedding, mostly due to me not wanting my 7-year-old niece there, and I thought it'd be easier to have a blanket rule rather than leaving one child out. Today my fiance met up with his friend, and I got a message at work asking if she could bring the baby to the wedding. This annoyed me because we'd already talked about this in private, and I felt like it was just brought up asking so he could say that I said no and to make me look like the bad person. He said that because apparently I've been liking babies recently, he thought I would be okay with it, and that it was crucial that the baby should be with his friend because she would be breastfeeding. I understand that the baby will need to be with its mother at such a young age, but at the same time, I'm not willing to make an exception to the rule and risk other people saying, well, you let them bring their child. Am I the asshole? I mean, it depends on how you look at it. This is going to be a controversial topic, but I mean, at 3 months old, are they really a child? I mean, they're more of just a baby. I mean, I don't know how else to say that without it sounding weird, but at 3 months, it's not really a child, it's more of a baby. So I mean, I would let the baby in just because that, I don't know how I'd bring it up, but yeah, at 3 months, it's still your child and stuff, but it's not a child. I don't know. I'm not a baby person. I haven't had a lot of experience with babies, but I would just let it because, I mean, 3 months, and it's a friend, and yeah, I'd go with it because you don't have very many problems out of babies rather than it crying or something, because younger kids, as in 10 below or something, or 13 as it says, then they're at the point where they're loud and obnoxious and rude and whatever. I'm not saying all kids are, but I mean, I would allow a baby, but yeah, the 13 is a good rule, I guess. But yeah, you are, but you're not. I would have allowed the baby, in my opinion. Am I the asshole for not paying half of my neighbor's vet bill? My neighbor has 2 dogs. One is part pit bull, and the other is one of those small teacup-sized dogs. I have a large mixed breed dog, and it gets along well with the neighbor's part pit bull, but for some reason it hates the small dog. Anytime that the small dog is in the backyard and barks, my dog goes batshit. Unfortunately, small dog somehow got into our backyard, and my dog bit it several times and fucked up one of its legs. I got the dog back from the neighbor who took it to the vet for treatment. Today she comes over and says half the bill is $743. I told her I'm not paying any part of the vet bill because the dog came into my backyard and my dog was just doing what dogs do to protect its territory. Needless to say, she got upset with me and said I should pay half. And if we'd been out front and my dog attacked her dog, I'd be willing to pay the whole thing. But the dog came onto my property. Am I the asshole? I don't think you're the asshole here. I mean, it was your dog, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's your fault. Yes, your dog did it, but it was on your property, and their dog wasn't supposed to be there. And I'm sure if you are meeting with your neighbor enough to where your 2 dogs are friends, you'd get to know each other a lot, I would assume, and therefore that owner would know that your bigger dog does not like their smaller dog, and they might try to do something along the lines of preventing that to happen. Yeah, it's not your fault their dog jumped into your yard and your dog did something to their dog. I mean, you're not the asshole here. I think the asshole here is your neighbor, to be honest. Am I the asshole for being upset about my fiance letting a man I didn't know rub all over her while we were out? Her 30th birthday was Friday, and we went out with several of her friends. She started talking to a man I hadn't seen before at the bar, which I had no problem with. He put his arm on her lower back and was rubbing her, so I walked over. She said nothing and continued talking to him. I walked away. She came over and he followed, putting his arm around her again. Before I could say something, he tried to pull her to the dance floor and she said, "This is my boyfriend." He apologized and left for a while. I said, "Thanks for saying something." I was starting to get frustrated. "This is where it got ornery," she said. "He's from high school and he's harmless." And told her friends I was insecure and jealous. She told me that she wouldn't be with me if I was going to be this jealous. Her friends, for the most part, removed me from their social media, and she's been distant ever since. Background. She told me ahead of time I couldn't touch or kiss her while we were out because she didn't want any PDA around her friends. She pushed me off and accused me of getting handsy when I put my arm around her at the bar before this event. Yeah, it definitely does not sound like an ideal situation. If she's accusing you of being handsy for doing the same thing he was doing, I mean, unless this man from high school is gay or something, and, you know, that's just kind of how it is, you know. But if he's not, then I'd say there's definitely something up. And her being distant, I mean, I'm not one to be the bearer of bad news per se, but she may or may not be romantically trying to talk to this guy. But then again, why would she say this is my boyfriend? I don't know. She might just be a hoe. You never know. But that's my opinion. I don't think you're the asshole. I would have done the same thing. My girlfriend knows I get jealous, so I mean, she don't care. But that's just our relationship, and everyone's different. So I mean, you just talk to your fiance more and try to get it sorted out there. But no, I don't think you're the asshole in this situation. Am I the asshole for not wanting to spend $150 to sleep on an air mattress? My friend from college asked if I would be in his wedding. I was honored. We live in different states, and I expected to have to buy a dress I would only wear once, airfare, and lodging. My friend rented a mansion and expects me to sleep on an air mattress with strangers from the other side of the wedding party because the couple getting married wants us to bond. It should be of note, I'm almost 50, and I usually get up several times a night to pee. We are not college students anymore, And I'm really beyond sleepovers with people I don't know. Am I the asshole for not wanting to spend $150 a night to sleep on an air mattress with strangers? I could see it. I'd just be straight up and say, hey, honored you invited me, but we're not kids anymore. You might just make up an excuse. Say something like, I can't sleep on an air mattress because my back, or something along those lines. Or you could just be straight up and say, hey, you invited me, I'm honored, but I'm not going to sleep on an air mattress. We're not kids anymore. And I spent $150 to be here, but I don't know. It's definitely a tough situation. But that'd be mine. You're not an asshole. I'm no adult. I'm 20. I'm still a child. But yeah, I wouldn't mind sleeping on an air mattress. But $150 to sleep on one doesn't seem right. But yeah, I just talked to your friend from college and see what's up. I mean, that's what I preach on pretty much all of my Am I the Asshole videos, is just talk to the other party and try to find similar ground. But no, I don't think you're the asshole in this situation per se.